Welcome back. Now, the JMPD's newly launched tactical response unit has been ordered to shoot to kill by Joburg Public Safety MMC Dr. Mgcini Tshwaku. While criminals have become more brazen, police still have to take their cue from the law. Section 49A of the Criminal Procedure Act spells out that the use of lethal force may only be used for self-defense or to act an arrest of a person who has caused or is about to cause imminent serious injury and cannot be arrested at a later stage. Let's speak to Yusuf Abaramjee, anti-crime activist. Thank you so much for your time, Yusuf. It's great to have you on the show. What do you make of the MMC's comments, shoot to kill?
Good afternoon, Heidi. Well, first of all, I attended the launch in Soweto yesterday where the new tactical unit was launched. And at the public address, the MMC made that comment, shoot to kill. I think there needs to be clarification. He needs to put it into context. Just to make a wide statement to say shoot to kill could be a call to action. It could be a threat to criminals. But one must remember, you have to do it within the framework of the law. Section 49A, as you correctly mentioned, Heidi, the Criminal Procedure Act is very, very clear. Police officials or even members of the public who are armed can only defend themselves when their lives come into danger. Just to simply say shoot to kill may cause a lot of public resistance. You're going to have a lot of negative feedback. And yes, the criminals are becoming more and more violent. We look at the number of police officials that have been killed in the line of duty since the beginning of the year, runs into a few dozen. And constantly the criminals are becoming more and more violent. It's good to fight fire with fire. But remember, the police have to act within the framework of the law, and so must civilians. And you can only shoot when your life comes in danger. And we've seen before a number of police officials facing murder charges, some of them found guilty when they can simply not prove that they acted within the framework of the law and their life was not in danger. I must add, this MMC, from what I've seen so far, is very passionate, he's committed, he talks a lot as well. And I hope that this new tactical unit, Heidi, will make a difference, because we know that crime levels in especially Johannesburg are going up by the day. And I'm talking specifically of violent crime, serious crime, which we are told this unit will be zooming in on.
Absolutely, Yusuf. I think majority of this province have been subjected to some form of crime or another. I want to ask you, though, before I get into what your thoughts are about this unit and whether or not it's actually going to work, about whether or not you don't think that police should be in a position rather to de-escalate the situation. And I think it's important that you brought into context the comment shoot to kill. Of course, if you are met with force, you have to react in a similar kind of way, especially when police are met with knives or high caliber rifles or whatever the case might be. I mean, you're not going to go offer them flowers. You obviously have to react in the same sort of manner. But shouldn't it also be to de-escalate? We are such a violent society already, and I just think that this force might be sending a different kind of message. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, first of all, Heidi, let's not forget what happened in Marikana, where we had a mass killing of the miners, and that also created a lot of controversy, and it's still before the courts. We know what happened to Andries Tetani and the allegations of police brutality and how he was shot dead by police as well. Now, we know a few weeks ago in Makado in Limpopo, at least 19 suspected CIT robbers were shot dead. They opened fire on police. Allegedly, there was a shootout that lasted 90 minutes, which shows you how heavily armed these criminals are. There were subsequently a number of incidents in Gauteng, but also in KwaZulu-Natal, where we are told over the past few weeks alone, as many as 19 suspected criminals have been shot dead in apparent shootout with police. So most certainly these criminals are becoming more and more violent. The police themselves are on edge because they don't know when their lives are at risk, when these criminals simply pull out a firearm. And that is why the Criminal Procedure Act is very, very clear. IPID, the Independent Police Investigation Directorate, has done a great job, and they continue to investigate these killings. And I think you remember some years ago, the Minister of Police, when he made the statement, shoot to kill. Again, we had all the controversy, we had all the noise. And these policemen, Heidi, let's face reality. When they're on the ground, when they are fighting these criminals, they are on edge. And the minute a criminal pulls out a firearm or a weapon, they will immediately shoot. And again, within the framework of the law, that might be allowed. Now, interestingly enough, on Crime Watch tomorrow evening, right here on ENCA, we are focusing on hijackings, specifically where ordinary members of the public have now decided to fight back. We had an incident in Annandale just recently where 2 suspected hijackers were killed by a member of the public. We had an incident in Durban, you might remember, where a woman in a Toyota Tez ran over a suspected smash and grabber or hijacker. We had an incident in Pretoria, a similar incident where a woman drove into a hijacking. She tried to assist the victim. And there was also an incident in Cape Town. So we're looking very closely at this issue. But to answer your question, Heidi, most certainly we are seeing an escalation in the number of incidents when it comes to police and criminals taking on each other, so-called fight fire with fire.
Absolutely. I mean, we cannot take away from how brazen and brutal and harsh criminals have become. I mean, nowadays it's not just about taking your cell phone, it's taking your cell phone, raping you and murdering you. I want to ask you what you think of this new unit. The MMC speaking about how they already are on the ground, there are going to be weekly reports. Practically, do you think this is going to work and it's going to make any sort of difference?
Well, I think first of all, I must say that the JMPD needs to be complimented for taking this decision to launch this unit. We are told that they're taking funds from some of the other allocations. We know in Cape Town, the Metro Police have launched a unit to fight gang warfare. That unit is rather effective as well. They go out with the police to the Cape Flats specifically, where we've had series of tit-for-tat shootings, and those killings and shootings are still continuing. And Johannesburg taking the lead from there, again, I think is a good decision. We know the police are hopelessly understaffed, they are under-resourced. We know violent crime, and especially Johannesburg, I'm referring to cash-in-transit robberies, I'm referring to kidnappings, to the drug scourge, to business robberies and other violent crimes are on the increase. So most certainly, I think the establishment of this unit, although their numbers are limited to about 380 or 400 and limited resources, I think will make a difference. They will act as a force multiplier to the South African Police Service, and I think that is really needed. And again, I asked the MMC yesterday when we met, what training has gone into these officials, and he's assured us that they've got all the appropriate and necessary training, and I hope they will make a difference. We know that in a number of cases, especially kidnapping cases, the JMPD has been helping the South African Police Service, and even in Cape Town, the Metro Police has launched an anti-kidnapping unit as a result of the high spate of kidnappings. So there's no doubt that this unit will make a difference, and I hope that other municipalities like the city of Tshwane, like eThekwini and others where violent crime is rampant will also come up with a similar plan to help the police, because I think the police really are finding it very tough and they need every bit of help they can get.
Absolutely. I do think that everybody does definitely need to work together and politics aside. Thank you so much for your insights this evening. We do appreciate it. That was Yusuf Abaramjee, a anti-crime activist speaking to us. And you can be sure to catch Crime Watch tomorrow night here on ENCA at 7:30.